Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Off the Clock. I'm Simeon Russell.
I'm Mike Butler.
And, we're supposed to say this is Off the Clock, but we said the introduction wrong. That's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay. Some breaking news, I guess. The Washington Commanders are going to be sold, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people, a lot of Washington Commander fans. I'm a Giants fan, so.
Of course you are.
Yeah, and Commanders, people here in Waldorf and D.C. area, the DMV, probably don't want to hear from me and my opinions about the Washington Commanders and about them being sold. But, oh, well, I'm sorry. You're going to hear it right now.
I don't know. I think everybody's going to definitely celebrate Dan being pushed up out of there by the league. Fans been wanting him to go for a really long time, so.
Which is the reason why I don't want him to go. Let him stay there. Let him run the organization into the ground. I don't care. Nah, I'm joking.
Oh, he already did that.
I'm joking, but not joking. But he's selling for the family, the Dan Snyder family. They've been in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Fiscal investigations, sexual harassment lawsuits, and all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm sure the NFL's like, we need something new, especially for one of your primary franchises in the league.
Right.
They want something. They want the Wizards.
Basketball always on your mind. Basketball is always on your mind.
They want the Commanders to be successful. And I mean they've had up and down success. Some good teams, but for the most part, not.
Right.
Right. But they're one of your key franchises though.
Yeah,
in the league.
They're definitely a cornerstone franchise. Been around pretty much since the beginning.
Right.
So, they need them to be a good team in the league, them and a few other teams as well that kind of make the league.
The Giants.
Sure.
Giants. It's one of them. You can admit it. It's okay. It's okay. But they're going to be sold. All right, the Washington Commanders, and I'm reading right now, folks. The Washington Commanders, in a partnership led by Josh Harris, have entered into a purchase and sale agreement, and it was jointly announced on Friday, May 12th. The purchase and sale agreement calls for Harris and partners to acquire the Washington Commanders from the Snyder family. The agreement is subject to NFL approval, as well as the satisfaction of customary closing conditions. And part of this group, Magic Johnson is included in this group. All right, and there's been a call for more black owners in the NFL. All right,
right.
And, Magic Johnson does a lot.
Magic Johnson's everywhere.
Everywhere. He's really turned himself into a businessman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, he picked that up from the time he was with the Lakers as a player when he was young. If you go back and watch the documentary, about Magic Johnson. But we're not going to get too deep into that. This is about the Washington Commanders, Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, and other owners, hodgepodge of owners, or rich people that's going to buy the Washington Commanders. All right. And, they say they want to bring a championship back to the DMV. It's not something I'm excited about, but hey, if it happens, okay, it happens. Where do they start?
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, Rivera is going to definitely be there this season. It's a little too late to get him out, and the GM, they're going to stay unless they just horrifically horrible and ownership decides to fire them mid-season. So, it's a little too late to really do a lot of things right now. I mean, you've already had the draft. You've already had, a lot of personnel put in place and everything. Mm-hmm. So pretty much kind of have to let this season kind of go by the wayside and, hope for the best. But, it's one of those seasons. It is what it is.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess with this season, they'd be trying to endear themselves to the fans.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot of people fighting for their job, too, this season.
Yeah. That's what happens when new ownership comes in. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? If I were Mr. Harris, Josh Harris, I think the first thing I would do is change the name. I know they just went through this whole entire thing, but the Commanders still sound silly to me.
Oh, it sounds super silly to me.
I mean, and this is coming from an outsider. I actually liked the name, the Washington Football Team. It just sounded classic.
You're not. I agree 100% with you on that.
Yeah,
it rolls off the tongue pretty perfectly.
Yeah, it sounded classic. I was like, yo, that's a pretty dope name.
Yeah,
and they should have just kept that. I felt like that, marketable. It would have been the only team in the league with that style of name.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I thought it was really, really good. Now the Washington Commanders sounds like a youth league.
It really does.
So I hope that that's the first thing they do is change the name. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, get the fans involved. Yeah, I guess they did before, but get the fans involved, change the name, and people will be mad because they just bought a bunch of Commanders gear. But then you do something like, hey, you bring back your old Commanders gear, and we'll give you something new. That's a way to get back into the grace to the fans, right?
Yeah, that'll be a perfect marketing thing to do right there.
Yeah. It looks like Josh Harris actually grew up in the DMV. Okay, and here's a statement from Josh Harris. He says, on behalf of our entire ownership group, including Mitch Rails, my longtime sports business partner, David Blitzer, and Irvin Magic Johnson, I want to express how excited we are to be considered by the NFL to be the next owners of the Washington Commanders and how committed we are to delivering a championship caliber franchise for the city and its fan base. Growing up in Chevy Chase, I experienced firsthand the excitement around the team, including its 3 Super Bowl victories and long-term winning culture. I don't know about that. We look forward to formal approval of our ownership by the NFL in the months ahead and to having the honor to serve as responsible and accountable stewards of the Commanders franchise moving forward. Thank you to Tanya and Dan Snyder and the staff of the Commanders for their partnership and cooperation throughout the sale process. In addition to Mitch, David, and Magic, our extraordinary ownership group includes local business leader Mark Ian, Lee Ansley, Eric Holloman, Michael Lee, owner of Range Group, the Morgan family, owners of Morgan Properties, the Santo Domingo family, Michael Sapir, co-founder and CEO of ProShares, Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO and executive chair, and Andy Snyder, amongst others. Together, these individuals and families have the collective resources and shared commitment to support our vision for the Commanders. We look forward to running a world-class organization and making significant investments on and off the field to achieve excellence and have a lasting and positive impact on the community. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
So how do you feel about Jeff Bezos not owning the Commanders?
How do I feel about him not?
Yeah, because he was thinking about, he probably could have bought them by himself.
Probably could have. Let's put it like this. I like the fact that Irvin Magic Johnson, that Magic is part of it.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what I'm saying?
We don't need Amazon buying them.
No.
It'd be Amazon Stadium.
Yeah, they'll probably say no other places can sell Washington Commanders gear. You got to get it on Amazon or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely would have did something crazy.
Yeah. But I'm glad that Magic is part of it. Josh Harris, he also is the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
Right? I think he owns who was that? The Islanders, I believe. So he's familiar with owning sports teams, although he's owning teams up and down the East Coast.
And look where the 76ers are right now.
Yeah.
Deep in the playoffs. So.
Yeah. I mean, they are. They're deep in the playoffs. They might get eliminated by Boston, but they're deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I mean, they blew it last night.
They blew it.
They had the chance to win that series, and they blew it. But that's a whole nother story. In other news, talking about NFL franchises, Tom Brady is looking to purchase a piece of the Raiders.
Just when you thought Tom Brady wasn't going to be in the headlines anymore, and there he goes, creeping right back into the headlines.
No, I like Tom Brady.
I do too, but
I like him and I don't like him because
Exactly.
I like him because every time he faced the Giants in the Super Bowl, he lost. So we cool. We're cool. That's all. We're cool. You know what I mean? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been just a short edition of Off the Clock. Thank you for your time. Anything else, Mike?
I think that's it. We will be back with some more.
We'll be back. Off the Clock Sports.